Hey guys, Eric here, Amanda. We wanted to tell you about how we got our dog to Korea and about our experience with everything that happened. It was a lot of different stuff. It was very stressful to get her here. Cost a lot of money, $800 about. It was very expensive. But first we thought that we would show you a little fashion show of our movie star.
Put on by the one and only Maddie. Hey, so we hope you enjoyed Maddie's fashion show.
What a diva.
Yeah, she is very excited to be in Korea because she can wear all her different outfits through all the different seasons.
Yeah, but we didn't bring her like a tracksuit because I've been taking her out on walks almost every single day, trying to give her a nice six-pack.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that works out.
But anyway, so we want to go ahead and tell you about our process of how we were able to bring Maddie to Korea. So what's really important is you need to find a vet, and this may not be the vet that you always work with, a vet that will go ahead and handle this international paperwork that's required. And so there's kind of a laundry list of things that you'll need.
Yeah, there's a microchip. It's called the ISO or ISO compliant 11784/5. There's 11785 as well.
And this is specific to Korea?
This one works for a lot of different countries, but Korea needs this one.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they have the scanners for that, so it makes it easy once you get there. But not every vet has them or does them. And a lot of them didn't even know. I called probably 10 different vets before I finally found one that did. Mm-hmm. It was a long process, took a long time. Now, if you already have the pet microchipped, you just have to supply your own scanner so that the people at the airport can scan your dog or cat with that. So, after you get microchipped, then you have to get a rabies test, and not just regular rabies test. It's a titer test. This is one that gets shipped off. It has to be an internationally recognized vet that does it.
Yeah.
So the one that's in America, I think, is the only one. It's in Kansas City, so we had to ship off to get that one. It cost a pretty good amount of money. I think like $150, $200, something like that. It was pretty expensive. But it took a couple weeks. Once we got it back, then it was recorded on the microchip. And make sure that you have the microchip first, because that rabies test needs to be done 30 days before, and it has to be recorded on the microchip. So you have to have the microchip before. So make sure that you get that done a couple months in advance before you're going, or at least before that rabies test. And we did it at the same visit, so you can do that as well.
Yeah, they just took a little blood sample from her, and then they sent it out and took care of that all for us, which was really nice.
And then reported the findings on the microchip.
Right. And so what's really nice is as soon as you get the microchip, you can actually go online and check the status of the teeter test. And so we were really in a bind because we didn't realize all this took as much time, and so I was checking it constantly, which is very convenient.
Stressful.
Yeah, so you're
going
to
get within weeks.
You're going to get a barcode that's got numbers on it, and then you can check the status of the teeter test to find out when you should receive the results.
Now, another thing that you need as well is the dog or cat also needs to get a health check. This is done by a vet. And once that health check is done, it has to get sent into the USDA, and the USDA has to put a sealed stamp on it.
It's embossed, and there's a couple different stamps on the paper. It should set you back about up to $200, but it is important to have it, and this is one of the last things that we needed to get back in time, and this is, I think, what will take the longest
came
amount of
in
time.
Just a couple days before we were leaving, and we almost didn't get it because we were out of town. We were on like a last ditch camping trip, and we were out of town. We didn't have cell service, and the vet called us and left messages saying that there was a new stamp that the USDA was requiring, and it cost an extra like $200.
Yeah.
So they sent one of their own people and got it for us, and just, saying that we owed them. And then once we actually went in there for the paper is when we paid for it.
Yeah.
But it
these
was
setbacks,
really cool that they did that for us.
And this totally caught us off surprise. Just so you know, I'm sure all of you have all your dog shots up to date, but they will ask you to do another rabies booster. So just be aware that even though she has all of her verification, they'll ask for that. In addition, they asked for about 6 years of records showing that she had her rabies consecutively throughout that time period. So I did have a file luckily with me when I went to the vet for the first time, and she did ask for proof. It's part of the application process, and so I supplied her with the different certificates. So just make sure that's something that you have with you as well.
Yeah.
Okay, now that you have all your paperwork and you can sleep at night and you can take your beloved pet with you, the next thing that you want to think about is airplane.
Oh my goodness. So this was also very, very stressful when we had no time and only a couple days until we were leaving. So with the airplane, Maddie was going to ride up front with us, but we went on Korean Air. Korean Air can only allow one dog up in the cabin at any given time, so we had to make sure that we could reserve a spot for her, and hopefully no one else had already done that, so luckily she came on the plane.
Yeah, but it took a lot of persistence because you were calling all the time.
I had to call a couple times.
To verify, re-verify, double check, because in our experience, just because one person says, yeah, it should be fine, or is lukewarm, to us, it's our animal. It's not okay if something falls among the cracks. We're taking her. So Eric called, I'm sure, like 10 times to re-verify, because there's other steps along the way in the process where they wanted to know her age, what type of breed she was, how much she weighs, giving us instructions about the kennel size.
Yeah, so let me go over that. So she could weigh, with the kennel, no more than I think 14 pounds. It might have been 12, 14, something like that, and it changes constantly, so make sure that you check before you do it. Don't just go off my word. It's around. So also, then we had to get a kennel size. If you did a hard kennel, I think it was only 8 inches tall that it could be, which that's not that big.
Right.
And then also with a soft one, I think it was 10. So we actually found...
This is the only one that we could find that fit the parameters.
Yeah, it's the Sherpa one. So we got this one online, and we overpaid by, I think, like $10. It's ridiculous, but we got it in plum color.
Right, and the other thing is, we wanted to make sure that she could have water, so Eric and Jimmy rigged like a gerbil water feeder.
Yeah, you're supposed to have a water bottle because you can't have an open bowl in there for the dogs, so they can have water during the flight. Well, so what I had to do is I could only find a gerbil one that would work with it, and then I just punctured a hole through here with like some scissors, put the thing in. It was a whole ordeal. MacGyvering works.
Yeah, but it worked fine because the metal latches latched onto the mesh. The first thing that happens though is you're gonna go to the counter, you're gonna check in, and then they'll notice you have a dog. And so with her, she was an extra $200 because she's an extra carry-on, so to speak. And so they also look through your paperwork, re-look at it, have a supervisor check off, and then
staple some stuff together,
some additional paperwork, and then they put it in a sleeve, and they give it back to us to have in the kennel. So as soon as we got off the airplane in Korea, then we went through another checkpoint where customs briefly looked at our paperwork.
Briefly, they went like this.
Yeah, and they didn't check her. They didn't scan and check her microchip either, like we suspected, and we were seriously flawless.
But have it all just in case, because if you are missing anything or if you don't have something, the pet can be quarantined for up to 2 months, I think.
Yeah.
It's a crazy amount of time. But yeah, so to get back to the importance, make sure you plan ahead. So start this process, I would say 2 months before. We did a month before, and we cut it so close to the wire, it was ridiculous.
I don't recommend that.
Try to at least 2 months.
2 months, yeah.
Then you also need to make sure that you call the airport. Call your airline, find out what their requirements are, talk to a person, because online resources, they're all completely different, and you can't get the exact stuff that you need. So make sure that you call someone. Once you get all that stuff, make sure that you have everything lined up. And
also, just make sure that you contact your vet and make sure you find a vet that will work internationally with you, because not all local vets will do that. So that takes some research and planning ahead of time too.
Yep, definitely. Okay guys, make sure that if you like the content, you subscribe to our channel. You can get those notifications for when we put out new videos, and make sure that you punch that like button. Okay guys, have a great day.
Bye.